Good evening, you're watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. Sultanate, along with Arab and Islamic countries, celebrates the first day of blessed Eid al-Adha. Huge crowds of pilgrims gather in Mina to perform this stunning ritual. And Shabab Oman 2 ship takes part in the inauguration of the Le Havre Sea Festival 2017 in France. Live from the news center of the Sultanate of Oman television, here we present to you the detail of this news bulletin. His Majesty Sultan Qaboos has sent a couple of greetings to His Excellency President Tran Dai Quang of Vietnam on his country's National Day. The Sultanate celebrated today, along with Arab and Islamic countries, the first day of the blessed Eid al-Adha. His Highness Sayyid Fahd bin Mahmoud Al Saeed, Deputy Prime Minister for the Council of Ministers, performed Eid al-Adha prayers at Al Khor Mosque in Muscat this morning. His Highness was accompanied during the Eid prayers by a number of their Highnesses, their Excellencies, the Ministers, Advisors and Senior Personalities. Honorable Sheikh Dr. Ishaq bin Ahmed Al Busaidi, Chairman of the Supreme Court and Vice Chairman of the Supreme Council for Judiciary, led the prayers. He began the Eid sermon by glorifying and thanking the Almighty for His bounties and blessings. The sermon talked about sacrifice at pilgrimage sacred sites, the scene that reflected Muslims' unity at Mount Arafat, calling for unity among the world's nations, starting with the Muslims' family, abiding by a moderate approach. He pointed out that towards stability, security and safety, which were endowed by the Almighty Allah on our dear country. After the sermon, His Highness received the well-wishers who expressed their sincere feelings towards His Majesty Sultan Qaboos, requesting Allah the Almighty to protect the homeland and to preserve His Majesty the Sultan and to endow him with good health, happiness and long life. In the Governorate of the Far, His Excellency Sayyid Mohammed bin Sultan Al Busaidi, Minister of State and Governor of the Far, performed this morning Eid al-Adha prayers at Sultan Qaboos Mosque in Salalah. He was accompanied by His Excellency Sheikh Salim bin Mustahil Al-Mashani, advisor at the Diwan of the Royal Court, as well as a number of their honorables, their excellencies and officials, as well as sheikhs and other dignitaries of the Governorate of the Far, and a gathering of citizens and expatriate. Yasir bin Ali Al-Kthiri, Imam and preacher of Sultan Qaboos Mosque in Salalah, led the prayers. He focused in his sermon on a number of meanings and lessons of this great day, the 10th of the Hajj, which reflects integration, cooperation and mercy among Muslims. He appealed to Allah to safeguard His Majesty Sultan Qaboos and to endow him with good health, happiness and to the return of such happy occasions with good omen and blessings on His Majesty. An estimated 2 million Muslims from across the globe were gathered in Mina today for the final major ritual of the annual Hajj pilgrimage at the Jamarat Bridge. The huge crowds took part in the stunning rite under strict surveillance, with police tape guiding the flow of pilgrims. Saudi Arabia says it has deployed more than 100,000 security personnel to keep pilgrims safe this year. Traditionally, 7 pebbles are thrown at a post representing the devil, emulating the actions of the Prophet Ibrahim, peace be upon him. The stunning ritual, which lasts on Sunday, marks the first day of the Eid al-Adha feast, or the Feast of Sacrifice, which commemorates Prophet Ibrahim's willingness to sacrifice his son. Along with other countries in the Islamic world, the Sultanate celebrated today the blessed Eid al-Adha, praying to Almighty to prevail peace in the whole world of Muslims everywhere received the first day of Eid al-Adha. Most Eid ceremony focused on calling for tolerance, putting aside all differences and disputes, activating the language of dialogue and extinguishing wars. In the Sultanate, citizens and residents performed the Eid prayer and listened to the issues raised in Eid ceremonies. Then they congratulated each other on this occasion. Children, with their new clothes and smiles on their faces, gave the celebration more joy and happiness. Omani traditional dishes are another feature of Eid celebration in the Sultanate. Prior to Eid haftas or Eid markets were held in most of the Sultan's governorates to buy the requirements for this happy occasion. Traditional arts are also part of Eid's festivities in Oman. In the holy places, pilgrims spent the first day of Eid al-Adha performing the rituals of pilgrimage as a deeply spiritual experience. You're watching the Sultanate of Oman television, and still to come in our news bulletin. The cool weather makes Al Jabal Al Akhdar in the governorate of Al-Dakhiliya an important touristic spot for visitors. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. Oman oil price November delivery reached $51.35 per barrel. According to Dubai Mercantile Exchange, Oman oil price increased by $1.84. The average price of Oman oil September delivery reached $47.63 per barrel, thus $1.10 higher than price of August delivery. Shabab Oman 2 ship took part in the inauguration of Le Havre Sea Festival for 2017, which was organized at Le Havre City Port in France. The festival commemorates the 500th anniversary of the establishment of the city and its big port. The ship opened its doors for visitors to tour the vessel and the exhibition on board. It showcased aspects of Omani history, culture, and civilization, conveying its message of peace and friendship. The ship's crew will participate in the festival activities such as crew march and ship sea show. Around 30 ships from various countries in the world are taking part in the festival. Now to Salalah. Salalah Plain is one of the main agricultural areas in the governorate of the Far. It contributes to the agriculture sector production in the Sultanate with many crops of vegetables and fruits. The plain is also an eye-catching natural area for nature lovers and beautiful scenes. It is the main source of coconut and other tropical fruits in Oman. Coconut trees are of great economic importance for the governorate of the Far. Banana came second on list of planted fruits in the governorate due to the availability of suitable climate and environment conditions. The Salalah Plain has a moderate and humid weather. It is a tourist destination for visitors and tourists due to its good weather and thrilling natural scenes. And now to Jabal Akhdar. Al-Jabal Akhdar in the governorate of Al-Dakhiliya is distinguished by its extraordinary atmosphere and tourism potentials, which makes it a great touristic destination for visitors from inside and outside the Sultanate. The modern resort and hotels in the area provide all the necessary services for the visitors and tourists. It's worth mentioning that this period of the year is also the harvest season for pomegranate, which also has an economic value for the farmers in the area. And now all the way to Nairobi, Kenya's Supreme Court today nullified President Uhuru Kenyatta's election win last month as unconstitutional and called for new elections within 60 days, shocking a country that had been braced for further protest by opposition supporters. Kenyatta said he personally disagrees with the ruling but respects it. But he lashed out at the judges, saying that 6 people have decided they will go against the will of the people. He called for peace in a country where some elections have been followed by deadly violence. The bench ruled 4-2 in favor of the petition filed by Odinga. He claimed the electronic voting results were hacked into and manipulated in favor of Kenyatta, who had won a second term with 54% of the vote. Unease around the election rose when the official who oversaw the electronic voting system was found tortured and killed days before the vote. As flood waters receded and rescuers searches water-lodged neighborhoods for more potential victims, Houston officials began turning their attention to finding temporary housing for those in shelters and getting enough gasoline for people to fill up cars, but also to the city's long-term recovery, which will take years and billions of dollars. Authorities raised the death toll from the storm to 39 yesterday. The Texas Department of Public Safety said more than 37,000 homes were heavily damaged and nearly 7,000 were destroyed, figures that did not include the tens of thousands of homes with minor damage. About 325,000 people have already sought federal emergency aid in the wake of Harvey. More than $57 million in individual assistance has already been paid out. Although it has been downgraded to a tropical depression, Harvey is still expected to dump heavy rain on parts of Louisiana, Tennessee, and Kentucky. And now for the general weather forecast. Around the Sultanate, cloudy skies will prevail over the coastal areas of the Governorate of Dhofar and its nearby mountains, with chances of intermittent drizzle. Rest of the Sultanate will have clear skies with chances of scattered rainfall over the Hajar Mountains. Winds will be easterly to southeasterly light to moderate. Seas will be slight with a maximum wave height of 1.25 meters. Watching the Sultanate of Oman television, and before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. Sultanate, along with Arab and Islamic countries, celebrates the first day of the blessed Eid al-Adha. Huge crowds of pilgrims gather in Mina to perform the stoning ritual. And Shabab Oman 2 ship takes part in the inauguration of Le Havre Sea Festival 2017 in France. And with that, we do conclude this news bulletin. Thank you for joining us, and Eid Mubarak to you all.